Hello and welcome to UPSC Warriors by Unacademy. This is Nandini, your educator for the day, who is here with a comprehensive analysis and discussion on the very syllabus of Environment and Ecology. Environment and Ecology is an integral part of our GS3 syllabus. Why do we need to attend to it so much? We need to attend to it so much because it consists of all the recent developments that are happening in the current paradigm in our country and also globally. This particular subject is, although put in static syllabus, but at the same time is very dynamic if we consider. And hence, we, the team of UPSC Warriors, thought that we will simplify the task for all of you. So we are coming up with short series of 2, 5 and 10 minutes which can explicitly, comprehensively cover the things that are related to the Environment and Ecology paper. Because we think that going on very deep for a prolonged period of time would make the topic very static to one particular thought. We intend to give a lot of insights while we speak about it in the terms of short videos. So that's what we are going to do in this particular aspect. So let's quickly get started. The sources that are required for this particular paper are again very dynamic as the subject in itself is. The sources that we can use are in particular NCERTs of what subject but? The NCERTs of geography, NCERTs of science, economics for some aspect of it, biology, class 11th and 12th, are certain basic books that can be used, other than which there are current affairs sources such as Down to Earth magazine, sometimes also Yojana and Kurukshetra. Then of course very important source of our current affairs, which is newspaper. All of these are more than enough to complete the very syllabus of Environment and Ecology. I'll tell you how these resources can be used dynamically to improve on your answer writing and to get hold to the subject. So, this particular syllabus is divided into these parts. So, we have organism and population, ecosystem structure and function, biodiversity and conservation, pollution, climate change, environmental impact assessment, important conventions, treaties, initiatives that are taking place globally and also regionally, and water management. So when you assess these particular topics, then we see that the topics that have developments every now and then are pollution, climate change, EIA, important convention, treaties and initiatives, biodiversity and conservation. That is why I said that this particular paper is very dynamic heavy, because we see every now and then something or the other is happening in these regards. So the static topics that are required to be covered in these is something that I am going to discuss in the coming up slides. So for organism and population, and the order that we have taken up here is the similar order that we are going about with the classes itself, with our short series as well, and anything that requires a very minute attention, we are going to cover it in long form videos as well. So in terms of organism and population, the terminology, the very concept of ecology, environment, and hierarchy is important, because we need to be introduced to the subjects. This basically pertains to talk about the introduction to environment and ecology, and then it moves forth with the discussion of food chain and food web, population interaction, which are related terms, and organisms and their environment, because that's how we know how the environment communicates with each other in order to sustain. In the next unit, we have ecosystem. So ecosystem, which are majorly being talked about while we talk about the Ramsar sites, while we talk about the new additions to the reservoirs and everything related to that aspects, wherein we discuss about the components of the ecosystem, the biotic, abiotic factors, and the related stuff. That's when this particular paper comes in handy, because we need to know about the basics of it. We need to know how a certain process is caused, how a certain event is occurring, what is causing what, and in order to dive deeper in the aspect of ecology, this particular subject, this particular unit is something that needs to be explicitly covered. And don't worry, I am going to do that. Next up, we have biodiversity and conservation. This particularly with the interplay of climate change has got a lot to do, that requires certainly the present attention. So biodiversity majorly talks about the species, the diversity we have, it talks about the threats that are happening, it talks about the protected areas. So all those news that come under the ambit of this particular topic, wherein we are talking about the new species addition, we are talking about a new reservoir being added, we are talking about new sites, national parks, wildlife, all of that gets covered into this particular topic. And that's when we realize that this particular topic is very, very important. You see, we are talking about even the legislations, we are talking about the reports here, we are talking about various treaties, various discussions that might have caused at some point of time, and all of those, when is related to the topic of environment, is something that catches hold of our attention and that needs to be covered because it is important. We talk about pollution. This particular topic we're having in toxins, what, class 4th standard, but this is when we realize that importance of the aspect of pollution, why should we know about it, becomes important, because pollution is something everyone knows. How to cover it, how to prevent it is something we as civil service aspirants must know. Climate change, very important, very, very important, because all the new treaties, all the new developments, which I think majorly every 2 or 3 days something or the other comes up with, all the major policy changes that are happening, all of that which comes under the ambit of preservation of climate, that's when this particular topic comes in handy. And we need to focus on this as well. And then EIA reports are generally published, which require the attention, which are directly quoted in the examination, because there are certain developments that take place which are on the basis of assessment only, and that's when we need to know which report said what, quoted what, published what. Because if we don't know about it, then we don't know as to what is happening in this particular domain, because such reports are very important. Then we have important conventions. So this is very dynamic in nature. This keeps on changing, since the list keeps on adding up things. A lot of things gets added up every now and then, because every now and then certain meetings happen, certain gatherings occur, and they speak about sustainable development goals, climate change, global warming, and that's when this particular list gets very, very important and dynamic again. Then we are also going to talk about water management in this particular unit, because that is one such prime concern thing that requires our immediate attention. So why are we discussing all of this? We are discussing all of this for the very fact that we as civil service aspirants must know about the policy, must know about the goals that the government have identified, must know what are the changes that are happening and what harmful or beneficial impact it can have, and hence this paper becomes very, very important. I could have discussed about each and every point explicitly, comprehensively. I must have explained to you, but that is something that we are going to do in our series of lectures. Why? Because it will become very important for you to just crib about the syllabus, because syllabus is something that we are required to focus on. It is not something that we must mug up. Of course, we must know what are the terms that are there in news, what all is the static part that we need to cover all at the same time. But then again, that is not something that will, surely come into the ambit of your examination or will be taken up by the commission. Because in very terms of environment and ecology as a paper, what happens is the static part is related to the current affairs, and that's when a question is formed. That's why I made it very clear that this particular subject is very dynamically static. You need to know about the previous happenings, but at the same time, you must also be aware about the present things that are going in the environment and ecology department. Why, as an aspirant, you must know all of it is because you are also a responsible citizen, and like not only aspirants must know about it, but everyone. And even the steps must be taken, because only then this environment and ecology can sustain in itself. Otherwise, it will become a subject like that of history. And maybe the case that after we reach that point, maybe the case that the species would also cease to exist. Hence, this particular subject is given so much of weightage that we are discussing it in an examination that is considered to be very prestigious of this country. So I hope that with this, I invite all the aspirants to our very series of 2 5 10 minutes lectures on the very subject of environment and ecology. I really hope that you all will join me, and if you do like the session that I am going to post in the coming time, then do follow us, do like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel, so that our team is also motivated to deliver the kind of content that must come in the market, that must be there in the domain. We are working really hard day in and day out just so we can comprehensively cover the entire prelims and mains aspect, and we can deliver the best content to all of you. So if you have faith in us, do consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much. This is me, Nandini, signing off.